EdTech, that is education technology, is nothing new, but the concept has fast become a buzzword as various schools and educators latch on to e-learning platforms to help students have a more comprehensive learning process. Virtual classrooms are now a go-to system for schools to help bridge the widening learning gaps. Despite technological challenges faced, EdTech startups have come up with different ideas and digital platforms to help bridge the education gap and change the narrative in the EdTech space.
Ayodeji, glad to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much, Fred. Nice to be here.
So let's even start by understanding how technology is affecting, whether positively or negatively, the educational sector.
Well, I'd say there are many ways technology is affecting the educational sector. Let's start from, media, right? A lot of education is happening on screens these days, on digital screens. Either it's on your TV, either it's on tablets, on your computer. So there's a lot of education that is happening via digital platforms. And I'm not just talking about school education. Even children, they pick up a lot of knowledge by just watching different screens. But to be more particular about answering your question, the 2020 COVID-19 pandemic made it quite clear to a lot of stakeholders in the educational sector that education and the way we go about educating children, educating ourselves, has to now be digitally transformed, because the pandemic basically showed that if people are not able to move around, you still have to continue to educate them. And I think it gave birth to a lot of new opportunities around learning from home, learning remotely, and even schools are beginning to take remote education more seriously. So there is indeed a lot that education technology can actually do for the educational sector.
Yeah, awesome. But one of the things that crosses my mind all the time is the digital divide. How do we bridge this such that the children of the less privileged, so to speak, would also have access to the same opportunities that others have?
Well, I think it's going to take a lot of creativity from all the stakeholders. The most traditional way of thinking about getting the people who are not having access to digital devices is to say, hey, there's a device here, you can access it via internet. That is two different cost structures. First, they need to be able to afford a digital device. Then they need to be able to afford the internet that will power it. The creativity I'm talking about will have to come from, like I said, stakeholders, people who can manufacture devices and perhaps preload these devices with content, or with the cooperation of, for instance, the internet service providers, to be able to localize content in data centers in country that can make access to this data, for instance, or this educational content a lot less expensive.
Okay, but yeah, so tell us what problem you're trying to solve and how you're going about it.
Okay, so we are trying to solve the problem of fake or inauthentic academic records and the problems around, issuing these records in the first place, as well as, the very, very cumbersome processes that it takes African graduates from receiving their own academic records from their own institutions. I mean, it's a really big problem, and we're solving this by creating a digital wallet. Our platform is called Akowe, and it's a digital wallet for verified and verifiable academic records, using blockchain technology to secure these records. For context, Nigeria graduates about 600,000 students every year, and a lot of these students want to travel abroad to study. A lot of these students want to get jobs. But this is where their problem starts, because a lot of the industries that would employ them, a lot of the schools that would take them in for further studies, want to verify the academic records they have. And this process is currently broken. It's currently very, very difficult to do. And this is one of the things that we are trying to solve.
But how's the experience been so far in trying to solve this challenge? Considering the fact that you also have to sort of speak with the schools themselves.
Oh my goodness, it's a Herculean task. Not only because traditionally schools, universities in particular, are like the old guard, right? They are the custodians of the data that we're trying to verify and authenticate. And there's no way we can do this without them. But they are also quite skeptical, and very correctly to be skeptical, as this is a new technology. You're talking to these schools and you're saying, hey, we can secure this information with blockchain technology. Nobody will buy what they don't understand. So there's a lot of education that we are also doing to say, hey, we're not going the whole 9 yards. Let's first of all be able to just help you digitize your records in a standard way so that it can then be searchable, and therefore it creates even more value for you. You can unlock even more value. You can unlock even more revenue by just digitizing these records in a way that is then accessible by the key customers out there who want to access it. So yes, it's been really tough, but tough people don't quit.
The challenge you're trying to solve is one that is real to me because, you know, I don't think I've gone back to school to get my certificate. So I kind of like understand the challenge. But tell me, where do you see a startup in 5 years?
Well, we like to say that Akpowe is going to be the one true source of verified and verifiable academic records in sub-Saharan Africa. This is a problem that is very prevalent in sub-Saharan Africa. In the next 5 years, we see ourselves with operations in East Africa, in West Africa, and possibly in Southern Africa as well. We hope by then to have been able to complete digitization of over 1 million academic records, using even 1 million students across sub-Saharan Africa using our digital wallets to present their credentials to any employer or to any foreign entity who's interested in seeing their academic records.
Now, what would you say, and this is my final question, what would be your advice to anyone watching this show now and is wondering how they can get started with technology and build a company?
Okay, well, first is to always go after the customers. There is a trend that is very prevalent amongst people who want to start a technology business. And that trend is that because they often know how to build the technology, they end up building the technology without, first of all, validating whether there's a customer out there willing to pay for this. So my number one advice would be, first of all, go talk to customers. Do you have someone who has the problem that you're trying to solve? And is that person likely to be able to pay for whatever it is you want to build? Because spending 6 months building your technology without actually talking to customers is basically a recipe for a lot of time spent, a lot of energy spent without validation of whether this can be a business.
Ayodeji, thank you for being on the show today. I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Fred. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye now. Cheers.
Bye.